Hello and welcome to Legally Speaking with me, Tarun Nangia. My guest today has had an illustrious career as an IPS officer. You last saw him as the chief of the Enforcement Directorate. He is known for his forthright views and a no-nonsense personality. Mr. Colonel Singh has recently penned a book about the Batla House encounter. As you can see, this is the book, Colonel Singh, the Batla House encounter that shook the nation. This is published by Rupa, as you can see, Rupa Publications. And in today's up close and personal interview, he will share anecdotes from his life, from his first posting also, and interesting incidents from this book, Batla House, which were never known to all of us. Mr. Colonel Singh, welcome to Legally Speaking.
Thank you.
So, let us start from the beginning. You've served for 34 years in the police force. And why did you choose to write this book, if I may ask you at the outset?
See, the first reason is I wanted to bring about the excellent work done by my officers.
Your officers.
What happened is actually some of the officers at lower level, that is constables and head constables, came to meet me after my retirement. And during the discussion, they were telling me that their names never come up, though they work so hard. So that is first reason. I wanted to bring about what all these people did. And secondly, what difficulties these officers face when handling any investigation relating to terror. Not only the special cell officers, the same difficulties are being faced by the officers of anti-terror cell of any state or the National Investigating Agency. See, thirdly is so many years have passed. Even now there are people here and there, they talk about this encounter.
Yes, the Batla House encounter is very famous and infamous both.
Yes. Though this encounter was examined by the National Human Rights Commission,
Yes.
and in 2009 itself, NHRC gave its finding that it's a genuine encounter. The report of NHRC was accepted by the High Court and the Supreme Court, but still such remarks are painful to us. So therefore, I decided to pen down various events after the blast took place in Delhi on 13 September 2008, how the investigation was done, the encounter and aftermath of the encounter. I have penned down everything in this.
Okay. But this is an up close and personal interview where we'll discuss your book, we will discuss the person you are, we will discuss your first posting. So let us start from the beginning. When we were researching for this interview, we came to know that joining the IPS wasn't your first plan, as they say. You were a professor and then you joined the police forces?
See, after my graduation from Delhi College of Engineering, I did post-graduation from IIT Kanpur in computer science. Then I took admission in TIFR Mumbai for a PhD. My inclination is a teaching, and therefore I like a job where I would teach people, I would train people, and I would have joined as a faculty in some of the institute. But what happened is, immediately after I passed out from IIT Kanpur, I fell ill and I remained in hospital on and off for almost 2 years. After I got all right, I tried for a job in my discipline.
Which is?
Different places, the Tata Consultancy Services and other places. I tried the job, and meanwhile I appeared in civil services examination. Though it was never my choice to join this bureaucracy. But then before I get an offer for job in my field, I got an offer in the civil services, in the Indian Police Service, and then I joined it. And when I joined it, I was not knowing what sort of jobs I have to do. But in the hindsight, I feel satisfied and happy about joining this.
I want to ask you, how was your mains interview when it happened? You gave the prelims of the civil services, you passed. Then you gave your mains interview. Do you have any recollections of your mains interview?
Yes. See, what happened is, since I was not on any job for almost 2 to 3 years.
Because of your health?
Yes. Yeah, because of health. The chairman of the board asked me what I was doing during this period. So I told him that I was reading the detective stories and the religious books.
Yes.
So he asked some of the detective novels which I had read about them. Then he went on to the religion. Most of the questions, apart from my discipline, that is physics and electronics, most were from the religion.
Yes.
Like what is karma yoga, uh, what is written in Gita. Then on Ayurveda, some quotes he asked me. So I felt that my interview was very good because of the chairman and the board was considerate to wanted to know whether what I was telling was truth or that was not truth.
So, when you were selected, what was your first emotion, if you remember, that when you got to know that you've been selected for the civil services after mains interview? You realized that what career you were getting into, or you were too young to realize it in that sense?
See, I hail from the rural background.
Yes.
My father was a farmer.
Yes.
I was not aware of bureaucracy,
Yes.
not aware of even the structure of the government.
Yes.
And I would say I only looked at, yes, I am joining a police service.
Yes.
Beyond that, I was not aware what will be my ultimate roles,
Yes.
what difficulties or challenges I have to face.
Yes.
I was not aware at that time.
Yes. So, you passed and you got your first posting in the Delhi police.
Yes.
You got the UT cadre, as they say,
Yes.
which is Delhi, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa, these three domains.
Delhi, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Mizoram, Andaman.
And did you serve in all
Chandigarh.
those places?
No, I served in Delhi, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram and Goa.
4 places.
Yes.
Now, to start with, what was the first day of your first job? Where were you posted initially?
See, initially I was posted in licensing branch of Delhi Police for a few months.
Yes.
And then I was posted in the field as ACP Motinagar.
Okay. So, how were the first few days in DCP licensing branch where you were posted? You were posted as ACP that term.
Yes.
So, what did you do? What is the initial work that you were assigned? What did you deliver? Any sort of good work or recognition that you got in your first posting?
See, licensing branch basically deals in giving licenses for arms, for eating houses, for cinema halls.
And this was in what year?
It was in 1987.
1987. So the Delhi of 1987, but everything was be manual.
Yeah, the records were manual at that time. And then I looked at so many applications were pending
Yes.
about the eating houses.
Yes.
So I took out all those applications, did survey of all those places,
Yes.
including the areas of Jama Masjid, Chandni Chowk, and all these places. And to my surprise, many of the places, the eating house was closed because the application was pending for so long.
Is it so?
Yeah. So therefore, what was required and what is required is the monitoring of the pendency.
Yes.
So that was my first reaction to while joining the service. That one thing is the subordinates put a file to us,
Yes.
and we decide. The second thing is we look into the files and find out where the files are pending,
Okay.
and force the people to put up the files
Yes.
in proper manner so that the files are not delayed unnecessarily.
Yes.
And this delayed submission of the files also result into corruption,
Yes.
because then people palm off some subordinate and then only that file will be put up.
Yes.
So I decided since beginning itself
Right.
that the files monitoring system
Yes.
one should manage wherever one is posted.
At that place, were you given any responsibility to computerize, or that age was a manual age and it continued?
See, what happened is after this I went to ACP Motinagar. I remained there for around 1 year.
Achha. So from licensing branch, you were only for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And then you went to ACP Motinagar.
Motinagar. What happened at that time is Delhi Police was computerizing their systems.
Okay.
It was
87 computerization had started in Delhi Police?
Yes, 88.
88.
So it was about the crime criminal system, the personal information system, and payroll system.
Yes.
And keeping my background in mind, I was transferred to as ACP computers and then promoted as DCP computers.
Okay.
While doing this, one day, Commissioner of Police, Raja Vijay Karan,
Yes.
he called me in his office.
Yes.
there was a team of software engineers from some firm
Yes.
was sitting with him.
Right.
They were planning and discussing about the computerization of licensing branch.
Right.
So after they left, I told the Commissioner of Police that why are you giving this project to this company? We can do in-house.
Yes.
So he was a bit surprised. He says that this officer, young officer, is taking a challenge.
Yeah, because otherwise in government departments you outsource everything. You give it to consultants to complete.
Yes. So then through my staff, I got it done.
Yes.
And it was inaugurated at that time, the software, by the then Minister of State, Government of India, Home Affairs. And Commissioner of Police gave reward of 25,000 to my subordinates
For completing it.
for completing that project. So that was very satisfying.
Right. Did you receive recognition for this?
Yes.
Were you recognized in that this is some young officer?
Yes, during the inauguration, the CP told about me
Yes.
to the whole gathering.
That instead of getting people from outside, this young officer has done it
Yes.
himself.
Yes.
Saved the money to the exchequer.
Yes.
So that was one, I think, initial one of the appreciation and the accolade you got. Now moving forward, I would like to know what happened after that. How many years did you spend in Moti Nagar or as DCP computers, ACP computer? How many?
See, it was a very short period. Before I left for Arunachal Pradesh in 1989, there was one more challenge I got.
What was that?
See, what happened is, at that time, constables recruitment used to be done by Delhi police.
Yes.
Even now it is being done. So, the sports marks
Yes.
were 30 marks.
30.
Then written marks were 40.
Yes.
And interview was 30 marks.
Right.
Written was subjective type.
Hmm.
So, I was sent for written examination evaluation.
Yes.
So there was a big hall after the examination was done, where one table, 3 chairs for one group of checking, and there were around such 20 to 30 tables were there. Each table was given certain papers. So what I observed is some senior officer would come, take out a paper, and check himself,
Okay.
which we should have checked.
Okay.
So I came back and I used to report to the number 2 in Delhi police, Mr. Arun Bhagat.
Okay.
So I told him this episode.
Hmm.
So he says, okay, next time you should conduct the examination.
Right.
So I made objective type paper next time,
Right.
and to be checked by the sheets so that we can do very
Yes.
fast checking. When I went there with these objective type, there were objections from the invigilators of Delhi police.
Yes.
They were not happy about it.
Yes.
They even commented that Colonel Singh will take Delhi police to 21st century. So, however, the senior most officer who was there, Mr. Chandra Prakash,
Yes.
he ultimately shouted at them, said that you please do your job.
Yes.
The examination was conducted, the result was declared,
Yes.
then interviews were there.
Yes.
So, I was compiling the whole results. So, I did between written exam and interview the correlation.
Yes.
I found negative correlation.
Okay.
So, I reported this to, again, Mr. Arun Bhagat, saying that there is something wrong in interviews.
Yes.
The people who are getting very good marks in written, they are getting poor marks sometimes in interview.
Yes.
So, then he says, you suggest something.
Yes.
So, what I suggested is that there should be 10 interview boards.
Yes.
And nobody should know which candidate is coming to them.
Yes.
From headquarters, we will have 10 envelopes
Yes.
sent to them through a courier
Yes.
before the examination, before the interview starts.
Yes.
And randomly, those envelopes should be given to the interview
Yes.
board. So, neither we know nor they know,
Yes.
nor is the candidate knows.
Yes.
So, there is no possibility of
Yes.
getting support from
Yes.
any quarter. Secondly, I requested for change of marks
Right.
from 30 for the interview to the 11
Lesson.
less marks. So, it was accepted.
Yes.
Thereafter, when I came back from Arunachal, I was in vigilance.
Yes.
So, I was again given task of
Yes.
conducting the test. Then we computerized it.
Yes.
Like
The tests were computerized.
Tests were computerized, like done in UPSC. Same time of checking was done. These number of boards were there. CCTV were put.
Yes.
So thereafter there was no complaint of anything about the
Recruitment.
recruitment. So I think I brought transparency in the recruitment of Delhi
And
police.
this was in the early days of your career.
Yes.
The first 3-4 years.
Yes.
Now, moving in from that, did you get transferred to Arunachal Pradesh after being in as ACP Computers?
Yes.
So, what was the experience in Arunachal Pradesh like? What happened in Arunachal Pradesh? You were, as you told me, you were a Delhi boy who was born and brought up in Delhi. Now, people in big cities can't get used to small places easily. So, what was the good point of being in Arunachal Pradesh and what was the difficulty that you had?
See, difficulty was that the office support
Yes.
of rules and regulations
Yes.
was not very good.
Okay.
Like the clerks in the office will tell, if you ask something, what is the rule? He says, sir, whatever you will write is a rule. So one has to start reading the rule books.
Yes. You mean the state laws?
Yeah, state laws as well as central laws.
Yes.
So that is one advantage.
Yes.
I wrote edited basically a book on customary laws of Arunachal Pradesh.
Okay.
Because the whole IPC system doesn't work there,
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
It works only at that time
Yes.
within 5 kilometer of the headquarter
Yes.
and 200 meter on either side of the state highways.
Okay.
Remaining place, it is the customary laws which were applicable.
Yes.
So I conducted a seminar and edited the book on that at
Yes.
that time. Then I found that people in that place, they were very truthful and straightforward.
Right.
And that's a good to work with them, good to be associated with them, honest people. I worked in Bomdila for 2 years.
Okay.
After working Itanagar for 1 year.
Yes.
I started, because there is a lot of time available
Yes.
when you work at these places. I started playing cricket with the students,
Students of local.
the college students.
Yes.
And secondly, I used to go them in forests sometimes for archery also.
Yes.
So that builds a comradeship, the closeness between the local people and me, and that was a very good experience with them.
Yes. Yes. So, in Arunachal, you learnt about a different kind of people in a sense, because North Indian culture and culture in Northeast, two different cultures they come from, and you got a new experience of culture of Arunachal Pradesh. Any other memory that you have of being in Bomdila and Itanagar?
See, very interesting anecdote I'll tell you.
Yes.
The one day Secretary Industry rang me up
Yes.
saying that your constable at the border, Arunachal and
Yes.
Assam border, that is a Bandardeva place,
Yes.
has taken money from their truck driver.
Okay.
So I told him, let's go to the border.
Yes.
So both of them
You.
reached the border. We had taken the truck driver
Okay.
in our car.
Yes.
So I asked truck driver, he pointed out towards the constable
Yes.
from a distance.
Yes.
Then I and Secretary Industry approached the constable
Yes.
and said him, you have taken the money from industry truck?
Yes.
He says, yes, sir.
Huh.
So where is that money? So he brought out.
He showed it to you.
Yes, he showed. I said, why did you took money from him? Sir, I have not taken money. He has given me money.
So he was a localite.
He was a localite. So then I said him, what will you do?
Yes.
He told, sir, we have our own the tea making system here. We use this money for that tea making. So I asked Secretary Industry, what should I do? Should I suspend him? He says, no, leave him. He's so truthful and straightforward.
What to do?
So we corrected the system there. I started giving them from my funds some
tea
money.
allowance.
But you see the simplicity of the person.
Yes. There is no scheming or those kind of things.
Yes.
So then you came back to Delhi.
Yes.
In 2 years. Where were you posted after coming?
Initially, I was posted for a brief period as DCP Headquarter 3.
But was this the time when the Mandal riots happened?
Yeah, it was just after Mandal riots.
So it was after 92.
It was after 92. I came back in July 92.
Okay. And how was Delhi like during that time? Because Mandal was a very... I think the character of the Indian society, politics and everything changed after Mandal politics. So I think there would
See,
be...
for me, Delhi was
home
because I am from Delhi.
Yes.
So I don't find anything new happening except that the lot of in-migration was there in
From
Delhi.
outside.
From outside. Except that I find Delhi as a home.
Home. So, what posting did you get?
See, initially I got DCP at quarter 3.
Yes.
For 2-3 months, and the job here was the quarter allotment to the force.
Yes.
I again computerized the system of quarter allotment to bring transparency.
Yes.
So that nobody says my right has been taken away.
Yes.
Then I was posted in a battalion.
Yes.
And the CP then, Mr. M.B. Kaushal,
Yes.
told me very clearly that there is the force is not reaching in time to the places where they have to be deployed.
Okay.
So the task given to me was that to make the force, the maximum number of force to reach at the particular places wherever there is a requirement. So I made a system of, again through the computers, that morning I'll get a report as soon as I reach the office. I get a report of previous day, from which company.
Yes.
We used to deploy from various paramilitary also, and the 10 battalions were
Yes.
there in Delhi Police. And then I used to write a letter in the morning that your force has so much shortages and reached so
Yes.
much late. So this formalization of the system
Yes.
helped bringing discipline in the system, and the forces were reaching in time.
Yes.
Then I was posted as DCP Northwest District.
Okay.
It was a field posting where I remained there from 93 to 95.
How was your time as DCP Northwest? Any interesting cases that you cracked that time? What was your posting like that time?
See, the Northwest District at that time
Yes.
included urban area as well as rural area.
Okay.
The places like it extended from Delhi University. Delhi University was not part of it, but beyond Delhi University, if you go to the outer area,
Yes.
Ashok Vihar and
That all was part of
Rohini was coming up at that time.
Okay.
Going to the rural area, Narela,
This is 93.
93,
93.
Bhavana area.
Yes.
So I used to go to the rural areas, meet with the villagers,
Okay.
have meetings with them to understand their problems.
Yes.
Similarly, in the urban area, meeting with the resident welfare associations.
Yes.
It used to be a first-hand experience.
Yes.
And you would know how your force is performing. They are
Yes.
performing good or they are not performing to the expectations of the public.
People talk to you?
Yes, they used to talk to me. They used to give very useful information also.
Yes.
And that helped with bringing the system in place. Like if somebody, some police officer is not behaving
Yes.
in a locality properly, then I used to know immediately.
Yes.
The secondly, there is one interesting incident took place when I was posted there.
Yes.
See, one businessman
Yes.
approached me.
Yes.
He was being threatened by a kidnapper
Yes.
named Dinesh Thakur.
Yes.
He was asking him some money,
Okay.
basically extortion call.
Extortion call.
So I asked ACP Ravi Shankar to work on this case. And we also asked the businessman to keep negotiating.
Yes.
So ultimately their deal was struck.
Yes.
And the businessman was supposed to pay something around rupees 2 lakh
Yes.
to Dinesh Thakur in Ashok Vihar market.
Yes.
So when they came,
Yes.
and Ravi Shankar team tried to arrest them, there was a firing between them.
Okay.
My office of DCP Northwest District is very close to Ashok Vihar market.
Okay.
So hearing about the encounter,
gunshots?
yeah, I immediately went to the market.
Yes.
The encounter was still taking place.
Yes.
The shopkeepers pointed me to a person running away.
Yes.
So I started running after him.
So you started following.
Yeah. A constable brought a car
Yes.
immediately, and I sat in a car to follow him. But then he turned to the by lanes where car would not go. So we left the car, we chased him.
Yes.
When we caught him,
Yes.
he immediately brought out a card saying that he's a journalist. But on his search, we found a weapon with him. The person's name was Aftab Ansari.
Okay.
I have mentioned this anecdote in my
So
book.
if you viewers, if you want to know more about this incident, you must read Batla House by Colonel Singh. But sir, you may continue.
See, this Aftab Ansari later proved out to be a person who initiated Indian Mujahideen.
So the man or the boy
Yes.
who you then caught later started Indian Mujahideen. This was inside the jail that he.
Yes, what happened is in the jail actually, there were three persons, I would say, in the Tihar jail.
Yes.
One was Aftab Ansari, hailing from Calcutta.
Right.
Now, this boy wanted to become a terrorist,
Yes.
and he wanted training in the Pak-occupied Kashmir.
Yes.
He went to Kashmir for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
He met terrorists in Kashmir
Yes.
who gave him some initial training of using arms and ammunitions.
Yes.
But they said that the vigilance at the border is very high. They will not be able to send him to Pakistan.
Yes.
Then he went to Bangladesh.
Yes.
From there also he could not go. Then he tried to take visa.
Yes.
He did not get the visa to go to Pakistan. Then he joined the group of Jammu and Kashmir terrorists
Okay.
who were planning to have blasts in different parts of the country.
Yes.
So in that process he came to Delhi and he was arrested by Delhi police at that time.
Okay.
Somewhere around 94 or so. He was in jail. Then there was another person, Omar.
Omar.
So Omar Said Sheikh, he was a Huji
Yes.
member.
Which is
He-
Harkatul
he-
Jihadul Islami.
Yes.
Yes.
He hailed from UK,
Yes.
came to Afghanistan, and from there he came to India.
Yes.
His task was to get some terrorists of Huji released from the jail.
Okay.
So he planned and he kidnapped 4 foreigners, 3 Britishers and 1 from America.
But this is in Delhi. The kidnapping happened, or in America?
Kidnapping happened in Delhi.
Okay. But these citizens were Americans.
Yes.
Okay. And one from Britain.
3 from Britain,
3 from
1 from America.
America.
So the 3 were kept in a house in Ghaziabad and 1 was kept in a village in Muzaffarnagar area. Actually, he gave them a story that his father has left a big village area for him.
You mean the kidnapper, which is Omar?
Yes, the kidnappee.
So-
Kidnapper told the kidnappee
Okay.
that his father has left a big
Village.
farmland in a village and he would like to show them. He became friendly with them.
Okay. So he befriended the 3 Britons and the American and told that he has a farm near Delhi and he wants to show them the farm, his
Yes.
own farm, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happened is Ghaziabad police was looking for a thief,
Okay.
and in that they searched this particular house.
Okay.
They were not aware there are kidnappee there, there are terrorists there. So the team led into an encounter with them,
Yes.
in which some people died.
Okay.
But these 3 Britons were
So Omar, instead of taking them to a farmhouse, took them to Ghaziabad and kidnapped them.
3 he kept in Ghaziabad. He wanted to take them to the village subsequently.
Okay.
1 he had taken from the different route, the Americans.
Yes.
So, but before he could take them out to his farm,
The Ghaziabad police.
Ghaziabad police struck there.
Yes.
And thereafter the police, Ghaziabad police and Delhi police, then they went to that Muzaffarnagar and got the 4th person also released, and this Omar was arrested.
Huh.
So he was in jail. at
Omar
that
was
time.
in jail. So Omar was in jail. Aftab Ansari was also in jail.
Yes, and this Asif Raja Khan.
Who's Asif Raza Khan?
Asif Raja Khan, I told that he's a person from Calcutta.
Okay.
And this Aftab Ansari hailed from Banaras area.
Okay.
And he was a kidnapper. His life
His
gang
life
of kidnappers.
is like that. Yes.
So one criminal,
Yes.
one terrorist,
Yes.
and one who wanted to be terrorist.
Okay.
They met in Tihar jails.
Okay.
And they decided that they will start some organization once they get out.
Okay.
So these 2 persons, Aftab Ansari and Asif Raja Khan,
Yes.
in 98, 99, they get out of the prison.
Yeah, they was in prison for 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
Did they complete their
yeah,
sentence?
completing their sentence, they came out. And thereafter, they started doing kidnappings.
Okay.
And they earned huge money from the kidnappings.
Okay.
Aftab Ansari shifted to Dubai
Okay.
because ransom call from Dubai was safer.
Okay.
Asif Raja Khan will kidnap in
in
India. Aftab Ansari will make ransom call from Dubai.
Dubai.
The ransom amount will be paid in Dubai.
In Dubai.
In Dubai.
Okay.
And then that amount would be distributed and some amount they will keep themselves for
Okay.
terrorism.
Right.
After they earned sufficient money, both of them went to Pakistan
Right.
and met Omar.
Okay. Omar by that time had gone back to Pakistan.
Gone back to Pakistan. He was shuttling between Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Okay.
So through Omar, they met Jaish-e-Mohammed,
Yes.
Lashkar-e-Toiba,
Yeah.
and Huji leaders.
Right.
And they planned that the Aftab Ansari and Asif Raja Khan wanted support from them for training the people they sent from India.
Right.
In return, they wanted, that means terrorist organization wanted their terrorists to be settled in India. They are called resident agent.
Right.
So in my book, I mentioned one of the resident agent, how was he settled in Agra.
Agra.
See, that man came through Bangladesh side
Okay.
to Kolkata,
Okay.
where Aftab Ansari and this Asif Raja Khan prepared forced documents for them to show that they are resident of a village in that area.
Okay.
With that Indian identity,
Yes.
then they settled him in Agra
Okay.
and he started business there.
Okay.
A shoe company he started
Yes.
there. And once he settled there, the arms and ammunition started coming. And
Yes.
this way they settled at various places in India.
Yes.
Now, what happened is, I forgot to tell you how Omar was released.
Okay.
See, you know about 99 Kandahar
Yes.
hijacking.
Hijackings.
Three
Acha,
per-
Omar was released there.
Yes, 3 persons were released in that.
Yes.
So Omar was one of them.
Oh, so Omar was released because of this Kandahar aircraft that went to Afghanistan.
Yes.
He was so important.
Yeah, he was very important for Huji.
Acha, is this the same Omar whose name also cropped up in the 9/11 attacks in New York? Or there was,
No,
it
not.
was different?
I think he kidnapped a journalist of UK in Pakistan.
Okay, okay. What by the name of?
I forgot
Is
the
it
name.
Daniel Pearl?
Yes, Daniel
So
Pearl.
Omar, who was basically freed by hijackers
Yes.
in 99 Kandahar hijacking, later killed Daniel Pearl.
Yes. So they started sending these people, settling them here. In that process, the intelligence agencies and Delhi police, they got wind of it.
Yes,
And they arrested the person who was settled in Agra
yes.
and also Asif Raja Khan.
Okay,
Later on, Asif Raja Khan was killed in encounter in Gujarat.
yes,
Amir Raja Khan was the younger brother of Asif Raja Khan.
yes,
He immediately, as soon as Asif was caught,
yes.
he went to Dubai.
Okay,
When he was killed, this Asif Raja Khan was killed in an encounter.
yes.
They wanted to take revenge.
Okay,
So Aftab Ansari sent his team,
yes.
which was in Calcutta, to attack on American Center in Calcutta.
Okay.
After that, he took responsibility.
So the American Center was attacked.
Attacked.
This was 90s,
It was 2001.
2001. The American Center was attacked in Calcutta.
Yes,
And Aftab Ansari sitting in Dubai had got this done.
yes. And he took responsibility. He claimed responsibility. He rang up Calcutta police and saying, I have got it done.
Yes.
The American intelligence agency traced him, and then from Dubai he was
Picked up.
extradited to India.
Acha, he was extradited to
To India, and he was tried and he has been convicted to be hanged.
Yes.
His execution is pending.
Yes.
He is at the moment in Kolkata jail.
Acha, his execution is pending, which
Yes.
means he was sentenced to death.
Yes.
Okay.
Then Amir Raja Khan took the lead of this,
Yes.
the Indian Mujahideen. And meanwhile, because of this American Center attack, a lot of leads came.
Yes.
And all these people who were settled,
Yes.
agents by the terrorist organization from Pakistan,
Yes.
some of them were arrested
Yes.
and some of them ran away from India.
Right.
So this is how the Indian Mujahideen
This
had
is
the
how-
genesis, and this is whole given in my book.
So, very interesting. If you want to know the origins of Indian Mujahideen, and the person who before starting was caught by Mr. Karnal Singh when he was DCP in Northwest, to know this whole story, you have to read Butler House, this book by Mr. Karnal Singh. But we will move ahead. After that, what happened? 95 onwards, where were you posted? Because 93 you were posted as
See,
DCP Northwest.
I remained from 95 to 97
Yes,
after my DCP Northwest to DCP Vigilance.
DCP Vigilance. So, what is the vigilance work normally in Delhi?
See, vigilance work is to inquire into allegations of misdeeds by police officers.
Okay, it could be financial as well as non-financial.
Yes, it could be financial and non-financial.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in 96, a special task force was made whose work was to take action against the builders who were violating the laws.
Okay.
We registered some cases in
Yes.
that and we started investigating. But then, if you are aware, one incident took place in Connaught Place.
What year? 95.
And, it took place in the March end 1997,
97. Okay.
in which two innocent people died in police encounter.
Okay.
And as a result, then Commissioner of Police was shifted.
Okay.
New Commissioner of Police joined,
Yes.
and it was decided to shift DCP crime also
I
because
want
it was his
So
team.
I have a query here. One encounter and the commissioner was shifted is a very big thing.
See, dying of innocent person is a very, very serious issue.
Okay, so he was an innocent person who got killed in it.
Yes, I was at that time on. It was the 1st April,
Yes.
1997. I was at my home. It was Sunday.
Yes.
So I got a call from new CP,
New commissioner of police.
Yeah.
Who was that commissioner?
Mr. T.R. Kakkar.
Mr. T.
So he asked me, "What are you doing?"
Yes.
I said, "Sir, it is Sunday. I'm at home,
Yes.
relaxing." So he says, "You come to my office."
Okay.
So I reached his office. He was there in his office. Mr. Ranjit Narayan was also there, who was the
Yes.
additional CP crime.
Yes.
The DCP crime,
Yes.
my predecessor was also there in the crime.
Yes.
They were sitting there. So CP told me that you immediately take charge of crime branch.
Yes.
And then he also told me something that we have selected you because of certain reasons.
Yes.
I asked him, "Sir, what is the reason?"
Yes.
He told me that you are a person who will not listen to anybody.
Yes.
And we have a case where there is an interference from the political level
Yes.
and very high level.
Yes.
And therefore, we want somebody who would not listen to us.
Yes.
So I thank them because CP is reposing so much faith in me. And I joined the crime branch then,
So you were DCP crime branch.
Yes.
In 96.
97.
97. What all work did you? Because in 97 or 98 there were blasts in Delhi.
Yes.
So it must have been a very tough posting.
See, the blasts investigation is done by the special cell.
Okay.
So crime branch is generally not
Tasked with such.
tasked with that. But one day somewhere in 97,
Yes.
the Commissioner of Police asked me
Yes.
to reach to one of the blast sites.
Okay.
Before that, there were many blasts.
Yes.
And I think he wanted a fresh look into that.
Yes.
So I went along with my team of crime branch to the blast sites. And that's how we get involving in investigating that case.
Yes.
We went through all the blast sites. I visited all the blast sites with me. We had DCP, additional DCP Alok,
Yes.
and ACP was Ravi Shankar again here.
Okay.
The same Ravi Shankar
Same,
which
who
was in Ashok Vihar with
Ashok
me.
Vihar.
We went through every piece of evidence which could be available at the spot.
Yes.
There was no clue.
Yes.
Various state police also were investigating
Yes.
the case. Even the CBI was investigating some of these cases,
Blast case.
blast cases. So then I proposed a theory to my team
Yes.
that if this person is a terrorist, he may be taking directions from Pakistan.
Yes.
So let's find out on all the blast days and a few days here and there, which were the calls made and received from Pakistan.
Yes.
After collecting that data, we tried to find out which are the common number in all of those days.
Yes.
We found around 62 numbers common
Yes.
in different dates. Out of that, around 49 numbers were of the Hawala operators.
Hawala operators. 49 numbers.
Yes. 13 numbers were not of Hawala operators.
Yes.
So we concentrated on those 13 numbers.
Yes.
And we wanted at that time that any call made from India or from Pakistan, from these numbers, should be intercepted.
Yes.
Now, at that time, there was no system available
To intercept.
to intercept those. So we at that time, there was only one gateway from India,
Yes.
that is VSNL, Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited.
Yes.
So we approached them. They said, no, it is not possible. Then I had a batchmate
Yes.
in MTNL Delhi.
Yes.
So he told me, you get a paper mark to me, at least from Delhi I'll get it done.
Yes.
So I got a paper mark to him from his boss,
Yes.
and he immediately prepared a software
Okay.
so that we can receive these calls
Transcripts.
about this. Then we again approached VSNL. They said no,
Yes.
Then I also came to know they have Ericsson switch.
Yes.
We talked to the Ericsson company,
Yes.
located in, I think, Holland.
Okay.
They said they have a software.
Yes.
Then again we approached BSNL, they said no, we
Yes.
can't do anything. Then we approached Home Ministry. There was a meeting called in Home Ministry.
Okay. There's so much of work going behind.
Yes, so there the Home Secretary said to head of the BSNL, saying that if it can be done and it is not being done,
Yes.
then heads will roll.
Yes.
So within a week they procure the software
Okay.
and we started getting
Information.
interceptions of these
call
numbers.
intercepts.
Now the first call came from Lucknow to Pakistan.
Yes.
A person called, Babaji kya kare?
Okay.
I am repeating his words.
Acha, that's how he speaks, Babaji. Is this in a book?
And this is, I think, in a book.
Yes.
और बाबा जी क्या करें?
Right.
उधर से जवाब आया कि घूमते रहो.
Right.
Now this looks very strange and suspicious.
Yes.
I sent team to Lucknow
Yes.
to trace that booth from where the call was made.
Yes.
But after 2-3 days, call came from Ludhiana.
Right.
Same number.
Yes.
बाबा जी क्या करें?
Right.
Other Babaji replied, घूमते रहो.
Right.
So we started now working on this new
Yes.
group, and this number became suspicious to us.
Right.
Ultimately, we cracked the case because of this number.
This number.
Because of this number, and Babaji was Abdul Karim Tunda.
Oh, that is, he is again a terrorist, very
He
famous.
is again a terrorist
Yes.
who had caused bomb blast in Bombay trains in 1993. Then he ran away from India to Pakistan.
Yes.
He joined Lashkar-e-Taiba.
Right.
He was shuttling between Pakistan and Bangladesh.
Okay.
He used to give speeches in the madrasas.
Acha.
And during a speech, he would spot a person who is susceptible to become a terrorist.
Right. And he used to train him.
He would pick him up, then he'll send for him for training.
Yeah.
And one more interesting incident took place.
Yes.
So we arrested one person named Kamran
Okay.
in this case, who accepted 18 blasts.
18?
18 blasts to be done by him. But there were 42 blasts.
Yes.
So around on 11th or 12th day of his police remand,
Yes.
I was sitting with my team and heaps of papers
Yes.
of interceptions,
Yes.
the call between India and Pakistan. So I said him, Kamran, you are telling me lie.
Yes.
So he says, how, sir?
Yes.
So I told him, you see, we have examined all the calls made to Pakistan, to
Yes.
Abdul Karim Tunda. You are the only person who makes call.
Yes.
But you are not telling us about remaining blasts. You know the people, it means, who have done it.
Yes.
So he kept mum for a few minutes. Then he says, I want to speak to somebody who is well versed in Quran.
Right.
So we organized
Yes.
his interaction with person expert in Quran.
Yes.
What he asked him is that if I tell the information,
Yes.
will it be against Quran?
Yes.
So that person told him that what you are doing itself is against Quran.
Right.
Your terrorist activity is nowhere permitted in Quran.
Right.
So this person came and then told about others.
Yes.
And with the result, we would able to apprehend around 26 more terrorists all over India.
26
More terrorists
were
all over India.
Okay.
So that was a good piece of investigation done by my team. And can you believe that 29 persons were given out of turn promotion in this investigation?
This single investigation of 42 plus.
By the Commissioner of Police at that time.
So it was a big victory in general for the police force and for your team.
Yes.
To get 27 terrorists arrested due to that investigation of the gentleman's name was Kamran.
Kamran.
Yes.
We arrested people from Hyderabad, Mumbai, Calcutta,
Okay.
all over India.
All between 97 to 99.
We cracked this case 97 end, yes.
Okay. Then where do you go after this?
After this, I went to Goa.
So after such tough work, you went to Goa.
Yes.
So how was Goa like? Because first time you were posted in Goa.
Yes. Goa is a good place.
Okay.
See, I like this society is horizontal.
As in, no, not hierarchical society.
It's not a hierarchical society. Even the constable will speak to CM as if he is speaking to his
friend.
Yes.
There is no.
No hierarchy there.
Yes.
So that is what I liked in Goa most.
Yes.
Mr. Parrikar was the CM there.
Yes.
I had seen 3 CMs actually.
Okay.
And all 3 were good.
Okay.
Mr. Parrikar, I found a very honest,
Yes.
straightforward, hardworking.
Yes.
Can you imagine that the budget of the state he used to prepare himself?
What? Mr. Parrikar used to make the state budget himself?
Yes, budget himself, and he would know on his tips which month money will come,
Yes.
and therefore on which month he will make expenditure of that.
Yes.
He was so thorough in work,
Yes.
and I remember sometimes he wanted to have first-hand information about the area, the local area. So he'll ask me to come to him. He would leave with all his security.
Yes.
He will drive the car. I'll sit on the front seat with him.
So you are driving with the CM in the car.
Yeah, CM is driving. I'm sitting in
You
the
are sitting, CM is driving.
So, a very, very good person and very good administrator.
Yes.
And another thing he used to do is that he would go to the offices himself.
Right.
And he will call all the files from secretariat to that office. Like for the police files,
Yes.
he will ask chief secretary to come to my office.
Your office.
Yes.
Okay.
And all the files will be there. DG would also sit in my office. We all will sit. And he will take a decision there, then and there.
Then and there.
Yes.
So very efficient administrator.
He is very efficient and very empathetic, I should say, with the people.
Any special memories that you have with Mr. Parrikar since he is no more?
Many memories.
Yes.
Once, about the society, I'll tell you. Once I was with him at his residence.
Yes.
So he says, come with me. I have to show my son's eyes to doctor.
Yes.
So we both went with him,
Yes.
along with his son.
Yes.
So the people were sitting and waiting for the doctor. Everybody wished him.
Yes.
Nobody offered the seat to CM.
Yes.
You can't imagine this.
The CM is not.
Of course, doctor was known to him, so he saw his son on priority.
Yes.
But the incident indicates how much horizontal the society is.
Yes. So then after that, what happens? Did you leave?
One more incident.
Yes.
See, I organized Holi at my residence
In Goa?
in Goa.
Okay.
So Mr. Parrikar attended that Holi function
as chief minister.
as a chief minister.
Right. So basically, everybody intermingles with each other. It's a happy society.
Yeah, it is a happy society.
And is the crime rate low?
It's hardly any crime.
Okay. So basically, for you, after handling 42 Blamblas cases and then going to Goa, your world would have changed.
So it is totally, entirely different world. But again, the people were good.
Yes.
See, that is why if you see the different cultures,
Yes.
you learn a lot from those cultures.
Yes.
Here it is a horizontal society.
Yes. In Goa.
In Goa, people will approach you without any hesitation.
Yes.
There is no hesitation of police there.
Yes.
Like other places, people will think 10 times before going
Yes.
to police station.
Yes.
There it is not there.
Yes. So people change, even government officers change, everything changes with place.
Yes.
Now then what happened? When you 2003, you come back to Delhi.
Yes.
What happens
See,
in
when I came to Delhi, I
Yes.
was posted in the special cell.
Right.
First as additional CP and immediately 4-5 months later I was
So
promoted
special
as
cell
joint
means
CP.
again all sensitive cases.
The special cell deals with the terrorists
Okay.
and the dreaded criminals.
Okay.
So it is a specialized job
Hmm.
where the officers are selected on their merit.
Yes.
They are handpicked actually.
Okay. These are select good officers.
Yes, on the basis of their investigating skills
Yes.
and their capability to be away from home for months together,
Yes.
working very hard.
Yes.
Courageous people who can face bullets.
Yes. Okay.
So
They are different set of officers.
there is a different set of officers. So it was a very challenging job. And I should say that my team worked very hard.
Yes.
We were able to take action in a number of terrorists, criminals.
How come?
See, one is the intelligence setup,
Yes.
the interception techniques. I also started the cyber lab in the special cell itself.
Cyber lab in the special cell.
So, because what happens is when you get the suppose cell phone
Yes.
or the hard disk
Yes.
from any place, you send it to the CFSL. It takes time. We were not having any time. See, if you have any information, because you are dealing with terrorists, any delay in catching the terrorist may cause some terror attack somewhere.
Yes.
So you need to act very, very swiftly, very, very fast.
Yes.
And therefore, analysis has to be done immediately.
So-
Maybe if we catch something in night,
Yes.
in the evening, by morning we should have all the information with
But
us.
for that, do you have interaction with, say, the police force in Kashmir if they are coming through that route, or the police force in UP where if they are coming via Nepal, or if police force, say, in West Bengal? How was that set up?
See, that setup is basically through intelligence bureau.
Yes.
So we interact with other state police through intelligence
Yes.
bureau.
So you
Sometimes-
had set up a mechanism? Or?
Yeah, there's a setup mechanism.
There's a setup mechanism.
It is still existing.
Yes.
After 2611, there was a multi-agency center formed,
Yes.
which is known as MAC.
MAC.
So that MAC now deals with dissemination of
So you
all
can get
information.
information on any terrorist in a matter of hours.
Yes,
I mean, if there is any legal record of that person.
right. And what we did is I put a team in Kashmir.
You had set up a team in
Yeah,
Kashmir.
team in Kashmir, because we wanted that to have information from Kashmir itself.
Okay.
Because many of the terrorists would travel from Kashmir to Delhi to operate.
So you stationed a police team of Delhi police in Kashmir, for
Yes.
which you would have special permission because
No special permission from the Commissioner of Police.
Commissioner of Police.
There was some problem while posting it there because the Kashmir administration did not like their presence to be there.
Right.
So then we have shifted them to in Punjab at the
Yes.
border of Kashmir.
Yes.
And it led to many successful operations in Kashmir, which we did with Kashmir police or with the army.
Any special successes when you were part of the special cell that you remember, that you cracked case 1 or case 2? Any case that you remember?
See, number of cases were there.
Yes.
The one was Satyam Liberty
Satyam
cinema
Blast.
blast.
Again, terrorist operation.
Terrorist operations. It was done by Sikh militants.
Okay. So were these militants of Khalistani?
Yes,
Okay.
but we were able to catch them
Okay.
in a matter of I think 10 days.
10 days.
10 days. What happened is I asked my team officer, I think Rajbir, ACP Rajbir was there at that time.
Yes.
So I asked him on one of the days when the blast took place, at the same time.
Yes.
So we both of them went in a gypsy
Yes.
to Liberty Cinema.
Yes.
And then from there we took time from Liberty Cinema to Satyam Cinema. We clocked that time. And then we started getting the analysis of phone calls.
Yes.
We say dump data. Dump data is the all the phones which are connected to a particular tower at that particular
Yes.
time. So between this gap,
Yes.
we try to find out a phone which at a particular time was there in Satyam Cinema, and after so many minutes he was there in Liberty Cinema. So we were able to get 4 or 5 phone numbers.
Right.
I don't remember exactly 4
Yes,
or 5.
yes.
And they were found to be of terrorists.
Yes.
So this small exercise
Yes.
helped in catching them.
Right.
Then there were Diwali blast in Delhi in October 2005.
October 2005.
We were again able to crack it, but it was on the basis of information from the intelligence bureau.
Okay.
They were planned by the Lashkar-e-Toiba
In Delhi.
in Delhi, and their team was from Kashmir.
Okay.
The first, the commandant of Kashmir of Lashkar-e-Toiba was Abu Al-Kama,
Okay.
and second in command was Abu Huzaifa.
Okay.
So our team was able to locate Abu Huzaifa in Kashmir. Our
Okay.
team went there. There was an encounter, and Abu Huzaifa died in that
Right.
encounter.
Right.
And Abu Al-Kama ran away from Kashmir
Yes,
to
yes.
Pakistan. He later on handled Indian Mujahideen from
Yes.
Lashkar-e-Toiba side.
Yes. So, could you call that your, in a sense, posting in special cell was a successful tenure?
Yeah,
You were-
it was very successful. We were able to neutralize more than 30 terrorists,
Okay.
arrested more than 200 terrorists
Okay.
during that period.
200 terrorists.
More than 200 terrorists. Similarly, around 40 criminals we were able to neutralize.
Right.
And more than 100 criminals, and I'm talking of dreaded criminals.
Yes.
Because a special cell doesn't try to catch
The normal runner.
normal criminals. The dreaded criminals from whom everybody is afraid. We used to target them and try to arrest them.
One of the most sensational cases of your career, in a sense, all over the media, there was a lot of politics on it, was a Batla House encounter. And there were allegations and counter allegations. And in this book that you've written, you've managed to clear the air about it. What was it about the Batla House encounter? What have you written in the book? Could you share some highlights of that?
See, I have written about the investigation part of this because on 13th September 2008,
13 September 2000.
the 5 blasts took place in Delhi.
5 blasts.
Yeah, it was in Karol Bagh, Connaught Place, and Greater Kailash.
Okay.
One was at Barakhamba Road.
Barakhamba.
The 3 were detected and ripped off by the police officers.
Okay. So
yeah,
police were hurt in those blasts?
Yeah, before they could explode. It was very brave of those people.
Yes.
And one can say that they did not bother about their life. But that is what happens to people when they
Are in the front line.
They are in the front line.
Yes.
Thereafter, the special cell started investigating. Mohan Chand Sharma was the key investigator of
He was
that
the
case.
inspector.
Yeah, he was inspector at that time. And this team worked almost day and night. We got 2 inputs. The first input came earlier, that was that the terrorists who had operated in Gujarat. See, there were blasts in Gujarat on 26 July 2008.
Okay.
Gujarat police was able to catch some semi-operatives who had provided logistics to Indian Mujahideen people.
Yes.
So they told that these terrorists had 3 phone numbers. They gave the phone numbers also. When those phone numbers were examined, they were talking only to each other.
Yes.
And Gujarat police shared them with intelligence agencies and other police
Yes.
anti-terrorist cells.
Yes.
So Mohan Chand Sharma started working on that. There was one incoming call for 1 second on one of these 3 phones. Generally, what happens when an incoming phone is received and you don't want to receive it and you just
Cut it.
Then in the call data record, it shows 1 second incoming call.
Okay.
So generally, any officer who is investigating will ignore it. This must be from some outside person. But Mohan Chand Sharma started working on this. So he found that this number was belonging to Lucknow.
Okay.
And when the person made a call, he was in Bombay,
Yes.
but he never went to Gujarat.
Okay.
So his call data analysis was done. He had made calls to various places. So he also made call to one phone number in Delhi.
Okay.
So that phone number considered to be suspicious by Mohan Chand Sharma.
Okay.
That is one piece of information. With this piece of information, it was also found that one of these 3 numbers had come to Delhi on 17th July.
17th July.
He stayed in the same area where this phone was there.
Yes.
And then on 23rd of July, this phone went back. So that means the terrorists have something to do with Delhi.
Yes.
That gives an
So
impression.
Gujarat blast and the Delhi connection.
Delhi connections. Then on 18th of September, the Intelligence Bureau gave another information. What happened is the 4 cars were used by terrorists in Gujarat blasts. 2 were planted in Ahmedabad, 2 were planted in Surat.
Yes.
Now, Ahmedabad vehicles were put in the hospitals with the explosive devices.
Yes.
The purpose was that after the incident,
Yes.
the injured would come to the hospital, their relatives would come to the hospital, and at that time explosions will take place in hospital.
Yes.
That was the plan.
Yes.
So these exploded in the Ahmedabad, but Surat blast did not take place
Right.
because they had the defective printed circuit board which was used in
Yes.
Surat.
Yes.
So these cars in Surat were intact.
Yes.
When their numbers, engine number, chassis number were checked, it was found that they were stolen from Navi Mumbai.
Right.
So Mumbai police started interrogating the all car thieves. So they were able to apprehend a car thief which admitted that he had supplied these 4 vehicles to people in Gujarat.
Yes.
He also told that he had gone to Ahmedabad to supply this in a house where people were preparing bombs.
Right.
And these people planted bombs, and in the evening on the 26th July 2008, they left Ahmedabad to Delhi by Rajdhani Express, 13 of them.
Yes.
So this after this information came on 18th of September. It came up somewhere in the afternoon.
Yes.
So we started working on this. How to start train has so many people.
Yes.
So but we thought to shortlist the people in the first step. We decided that the people who were coming from the Ahmedabad, but who had got reservation done from Delhi return reservation.
Okay.
So we got first that list.
Yes.
So in that list, when we examined, 13 people were found to be having false addresses.
Okay.
So that created doubt on those 13 people. So I asked Mohan Chand Sharma, saying that you tell me from where these reservations were done. They were done from Nizamuddin.
Yes.
I asked him that, tell me the position of this number, suspicious number which we had, at the time of reservation done.
Okay.
So he checked and replied that this one was also at Nizamuddin railway station. So our suspicion deepens.
Yes.
Then this number, his associated numbers were all checked.
Yes.
So interestingly, it was found to be closed like from 23rd July to 27 July 2008, it was closed, not working.
Yes.
His and his friends' numbers. Jaipur blast, they were not closed. Delhi blast, they were closed. There were 2 calls were made that we are Indian Mujahideen. Some emails were sent. When the blasts were taking place in UP courts, and when one day after the blast in the Jaipur,
Yes.
one email was done from Shakarpur,
Yes.
one was done from Sahibabad.
Right.
At that time also this number was silent, no calls made to this. So then we started racking this area. The Mohan's team racked this area and decided to conduct search.
So this area was Batla House.
Badla House area.
Okay.
So in the morning on next day, that is on 19th of September, the 2 teams went there. The front team was led by Mohan Chand Sharma and backup team was led by ACP Sanjeev Yadav.
Right.
On that particular day, the Home Minister, Mr. Shivraj Patil, was to visit the police headquarters. So I requested the Commissioner of Police that I and my DCP should be excused for not attending the
Yes.
meeting with the Home Minister,
Yes.
because I want to be available with my team
Yes.
at the time of
Yes.
the search operation, because in the past there were certain cases where I was required by my team at the time of operations.
Yes.
So I was sitting in the office of the special cell around 11 o'clock.
Yes.
I got a call from Mohan
Yes.
that there are people inside the house. This flat was on 4th floor.
Yes.
Building was L18 Batla House,
Right.
and they are going in.
Yes.
So I was sitting in my office expecting the next call from Mohan
Yes.
to be of success,
Yes.
that they have found something or they have not found something, whatever it is. Almost around 10 to 20 minutes, exact amount I will not be able to say, I got a call from ACP Sanjeev Yadav.
Okay.
His voice was choking, as if he is in tears.
Okay.
He told me, sir, Mohan and Head Constable Balwant have got bullet injuries.
Okay.
They are being shifted to hospital, and terrorists are holed up inside the house,
Okay.
inside the flat. So I told him that you try to contain them. I am requisitioning more force.
Yes.
I immediately rang up police control room and asked them to send 5 companies of the force along with 1 platoon of commandos to Batla House. I also collected some people from the special cell and asked them to be with me. On the way, I took DCP of special cell, Mr. Alok, and we reached there. When I reached there, I found a huge crowd in the area. Particularly, there was a mosque nearby.
Yes.
Large gathering was there.
Yes.
I went inside. By that time, there was a second encounter with the team of ACP Sanjeev Yadav. I went with him to the 108 flat. I inquired with the officers and inspected the whole area.
Yes.
Trying to find out the versions of the police,
Yes.
whatever they were telling me.
Yes.
2 people have died, that is 2 terrorists had died. One was arrested from the spot. 2 had run away from there.
Right.
And Mohan Chand Sharma was sent to Holy Family Hospital because that was nearby, and Balwant was sent to AIMS Trauma Center.
Yes.
So from there, I came down. There was a huge gathering of the media also. I gave them one bite about the incident, very brief bite. Then went to the hospital.
Right.
I could not meet Mohan in the hospital because he was taken for surgery by the doctors. I spoke to doctors, asked them if we can shift him. They say shifting will be a problem. So we tried to get experts from other hospitals also. I spoke to his family members and then I spoke to the police officers who were there at the time of encounter. I spoke to him to know about what is his version. Their versions were telling.
Yes.
I consoled his family
Yes.
and then went to
Yes.
AIMS Trauma Center.
Yes.
He spoke to Balwant,
Right.
who had got a fracture in his hand because of the bullet.
Yes.
Then went to police headquarters.
Yes.
On that day, CP gave the bite about the incident. Thereafter, I rushed to the hospital back to see Mohan Chand Sharma. I reached around 7 p.m. So Inspector Sanjay Dutt was there. He took me to one of the rooms. There I met the doctors. They told me that they are losing the battle of life.
Yes.
They took me to Mohan. There were all machines were put to him
Yes.
to keep him alive. I put my hand on his forehead
Yes.
and I felt he's no more.
Yes.
Then I came out along with doctors. I called his father and told him, okay, Mohan is no more. It was a difficult moment for us, for his father, for his family. His wife was also there. After some time, then I spoke to my officers,
Yes.
telling them that some of them should start working. See, this team of Mohan Chand Sharma
Yes.
was a very cohesive team.
Yes.
They had worked for years together.
Yes.
They have emotional attachment with each other.
Yes.
They have emotional attachments with families also.
Yes.
So it's a difficult to leave that place for this.
Yes.
The time of crisis, leaving the family.
Yes.
But on the other hand, you cannot leave the terrorists also.
Yes.
So then I had discussion with them, leaving some people with the family and remaining we put on job. I also went from there to the special cell office,
Right.
where we interrogated one of the terrorists who was caught from the spot.
Yes.
While we were interrogating,
Yes.
I got a call from one of the media
Yes.
that one boy has come to the media to give interview. He says he is innocent,
Yes.
but he is suspecting that police will catch him.
Yes.
So they asked me that I should send a team to pick
Yes.
him up from the
Channel. Yes.
channel. I said, you take your interview, I'll take a call on this.
Yes.
Then I sent a team
Yes.
near the exit of the
Channel.
channel. After some time, when their interview was over,
Yes.
they again rang me up saying that now you can take him.
Yes.
I understood their plan. They wanted some drama in the
Media.
so I said no.
Yes.
We are not going to pick him up from your this. You may allow him to go out.
Yes.
So as soon as he came out, our team was there. He was picked up. He was brought to the special cell.
Yes.
His photograph was sent to IB to find out whether he is also the person who was
Involved in the blast.
involved in the blast. So they gave information. Yes,
Yes.
he was there. So he was interrogated further. So on that day we interrogated quite late at night.
Okay.
The next day, Mohan's postmortem was done. His cremation was also done. We also sent a report to National Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
The huge gathering
Yes. Yes.
at the time of his cremation.
Right.
After the cremation was over, I came back.
Yes.
we did a press conference, a
Yes.
detailed press conference, like to explain and to reply to the queries.
Right.
So this is what happened
Yes.
during the encounter.
Yes. So, were you expecting the kind of politics that would then have been played over the Batla House encounter? Because there was, I think it was used for politics after that. Because there were allegations of friendly fire from some people, that he was killed from someone from within. There was some interforce rivalry. Somebody said something else. Somebody said that it was a fake encounter. How did this encounter become a victim to politics?
See, immediately it was in September 2008,
Yes.
and there were elections in 5 assembly
Segments.
segments, not segments, 5 states.
5 states there were elections.
Yes, assembly elections in 5 states,
Okay.
starting from November 2008.
Okay.
And in the beginning of 2009, there were parliamentary elections.
Yes.
So political parties were preparing for going to
So
the
this
elections.
issue was a good one to latch on to.
Yes, some of the politicians,
Yes.
they tried to use it as a vote bank politics.
Yes.
Meanwhile, some media persons picked up rumors from the area,
Yes.
and without verifying them, they started showing on their channels
Yes.
and writing in the
Press.
press. One of the article in one of the newspapers said that they found a witness.
They found a witness.
The witness will not come out.
Yes.
He will not tell anybody anything.
Yes.
Witness has seen through his eyes,
Yes.
standing in his washroom,
Yes.
and from where he saw everything what is happening in the house.
Yes.
That means 108 L18 Batla House. And according to the witness, the special cell team went up.
Yes.
Then these people were taken down
Yes.
on the ground floor. They were killed on the ground floor.
Yes.
During that process, Mohan also got injuries.
Yes.
Then these people dragged them up.
Yes.
And then they brought some more persons who were arrested. This
Yes.
was the one story. The same story also says that they have got the postmortem report,
Yes.
which clearly indicates that Mohan got 3 bullet injuries on his back,
Yes.
and they were from a few millimeter or few centimeter of distance, which
Yes.
which indicates that it was by the friendly fire from a police officer.
Yes.
It also said that the terrorists never fired on the police.
Yes. They were just.
They were innocent people.
Yes.
This is what allegations were there.
Yes.
Now, coming to the first allegation that they found a witness.
Yes.
Now, where was this witness?
Yes. Maybe some building nearby where he was standing.
Nearby buildings were 2 stories high.
Okay.
This was 4-story high, and
So
this
there is
flat
no-
was on 4th floor.
So no way any.
Nowhere. And from anywhere you can't see inside the house what is happening.
Okay.
Secondly, if there was such witness, he never appeared anywhere except this journalist, to this journalist. There was public hearing in that area.
Yes.
There were NHRC proceedings. There were court proceedings.
Yes. But nobody turned up.
Nobody turned up.
Yes.
So this witness was not existing. This was new rumors picked up and put into the media.
Press. Yes.
Then they say that 3 bullet injuries as per post-mortem report fired from the back. But post-mortem report says something entirely different.
Yes.
It was a wrong depiction of post-mortem report. According to post-mortem report, he got 2 bullet injuries,
Yes.
and that too from the front.
Okay.
And it also says post-mortem that they were from a range which is beyond 1 feet.
Okay.
So the friendly fire theory goes
Yes.
out from this.
Yes.
Now coming back to that terrorists were not fired on the police.
Yes.
The doctor who was conducting post-mortem at the AIMS,
Yes.
he took the hand wash of these people.
Yes.
Now why hand wash is taken is because if somebody uses firearms,
Yes.
then the gunpowder sticks on the hands.
Yes.
And if gunpowder is present on the hands, that means he has fired.
Yes.
So this doctor sent it to CFSL,
Yes.
where the report came that yes, there is a gunpowder in
Yes,
it,
yes.
proving that
Yes.
they fired on police. This whole thing has been examined thoroughly by the NHRC,
Yes.
which gave the finding that the encounter was genuine.
Right.
Then the High Court, this report was submitted to the High Court of Delhi,
Yes.
where the other party raised that it should be done by the inquiry should be done by a retired Supreme Court judge.
Yes.
To which High Court commented that the NHRC is a high-powered committee which also has retired judges.
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you in this particular inquiry,
Yes.
there was a retired Supreme Court judge.
Okay.
There was a retired Chief Justice of Delhi High Court.
Yes.
There was a retired CBI officer,
Yes.
Director of CBI.
Director Senior.
There was a retired Indian Foreign Service officer. So
Right.
it is a high-powered committee. On that basis, Supreme Court says that they're as good as any
Yes.
judicial inquiry.
Yes.
And therefore, they accepted the report. The other party went to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Supreme Court also accepted the NHRC report, and that way ultimately the encounter was
Held.
judicially proved to be correct.
Okay. Now so in a sense you have, through your book Batla House, you have explained the closure of this issue.
Yes.
You have given everything that happened so that people know. And if you want to know it in detail, of course, I recommend you to read this book, Batla House by Colonel Singh. As you can see the cover, it's published by Rupa. Moving ahead, what happens after the Batla House? You were immediately transferred out, or you were still there in Delhi a few years even after that?
See, I was there in Delhi only.
Okay.
Even in a special cell, I remained till December.
And after that?
After that, I was joined as Joint Commissioner of Police, Northern Region in Delhi.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you two more incidents about this.
From special cell itself?
From this incident.
Yes.
See, one was the Vice Chancellor of Jamia Millia University at that time.
Yes.
Gave a statement
Yes.
that he will provide the legal aid to the students of the Jamia Millia who were involved in the encounter process.
Okay. So
Now-
basically, students accused of being close to terrorists or
No, students were terrorists. Like this person who died
Yes. Was a student.
was a student of Jamia Millia University.
Oh, so basically terrorists.
Basically terrorists. So it was very painful to hear that the Vice Chancellor is giving such irresponsible
Statements.
statement. What we had done is, I had asked my team to gather all the evidences,
Yes.
and we put in our laptop.
Yes.
So I asked Alok, who was DCP, that take appointment with the Vice Chancellor. We both of them went to Vice Chancellor's office. We went in a private car. We
Yes.
did not want to
Show that police.
show
is-
that police has come. And I explained him what has happened,
Yes.
including the evidences against these people.
Yes.
And after seeing those,
Yes.
the VC never spoke
Yes.
about favor or against.
Yes.
He became silent.
Yes.
Then one day there was a lot of pressure on the government at that time from various corners.
Yes.
So one day I got a call from Lieutenant Governor,
Lieutenant Governor of Delhi.
Delhi, Mr. Tejinder Khanna.
Right.
He asked me to come to his residence.
Right.
He told that Mr. Kapil Sibal, who was a minister at that time, wanted to meet me, and he wanted to ask me about the incident. So I went prepared with my laptop also. So we sat like this. There was a table on one side. Mr. Kapil Sibal sat, on other side I sat. LG was sitting on the head of the table, you can say.
Yes.
He did not intervene.
Yes.
LG was silent throughout the discussion. Mr. Kapil Sibal asked me many questions. He had all the clippings of the newspaper.
Yes.
Asking one by one, I made a sketch of the flat.
Yes.
Explained him how the bullets were fired.
Yes.
Positions of the officers also I explained to him. I explained him about the post-mortem reports which are falsely depicted in some of the media. I showed him evidences against these people, like evidences for clips found in their computers or in their memory of the mobile phone. For example, Jaipur blast. A clip of a cycle with a bomb
Yes.
before it exploded.
Okay.
Gujarat.
Yes.
Before the bombs were put into the market area
Yes.
in the Gujarat for explosion, they had put them in the form of IM.
Okay. Indian, signifying Indian Mujahideen.
Indian Mujahideen. And
Right.
on the back of that, there was a cloth on which they had written Indian Mujahideen, Gujarat. It was written in Gujarati.
Yes.
I showed him the photographs of even the vehicles in which bombs were planted and which exploded subsequently.
Yes.
Now, then there were the books relating to Osama bin Laden,
Yes.
jihads,
Yes.
and songs to radicalize people.
Yes.
Large number of songs.
Large amount.
So after seeing all those things and listening to all those things, it was almost more than 1 hour long discussion.
Yes.
He says he's convinced
Right.
about the encounter, and he told me that he is going to meet the Prime Minister that day,
Yes.
and he'll inform him.
Right.
He confirmed this to me that he has informed the Prime Minister in the evening by phone.
Right.
Thereafter, in February,
Yes.
we had our police day.
Yes.
Basically a police week from 16th February to 22nd February. And on the last day, we had at home,
Yes.
which is attended generally by the President, the Prime Minister. So as a customary during that function, we go and meet the President.
Yes.
So, and get a snap with the President. So I was going with my wife towards the President.
Yes.
On the way, LG and the Prime Minister were talking to each other.
Yes.
So LG stopped me
Yes.
and introduced me to the Prime Minister,
Yes.
saying that, praising me about my work, and then he says he is the same officer
Yes.
who had handled Batla House.
Right.
So PM spoke very less. He says, you have done a good job.
Right.
So that was a big,
That it has been conveyed to the Prime Minister
Yes.
that what happened was bona fide and correct.
yes.
So that one is indeed a sigh of relief for you. That
I have mentioned all this incident in my book.
this whole incident is
Yes.
there in the book. Moving ahead, then after that, what happens? You're transferred as joint CP to Northern region,
Yes.
and what kind of posting was that?
See, I would say it is a lighter posting as compared to
The
the
special cell.
special cell. But in 2010, there were Commonwealth Games.
So again, a lot of work.
And in run-up to Commonwealth Games, we had to procure, Delhi Police had to procure many equipments. So being the technology savvy,
Right.
the commissioner put me in most of the technical committees
Yes.
to analyze.
Were you appointed?
No, he will just say in this technical committee, what is the technical committee? I was heading the many technical committees.
Many.
Yes. So one technical committee was, for example, we have command and control system in police headquarters.
Yes.
Now it connected all the stadia,
Yes.
because stadia has CCTV.
Right.
All these CCTVs were connected to our control
Yes.
room.
Yes.
We also connected it with our police control room system. We also connected it with the wireless systems.
Yes.
So sitting at one place, you can find out anywhere in the stadia what is happening.
Right.
So for example, on the inauguration day, I was sitting in my this control room
Yes.
and was able to view the whole things what was happening there,
Yes, yes.
inside and outside.
Yes.
We also introduced non-clonable identity cards in Delhi Police.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, what happened is when we were introducing these non-clonable identity cards, there was a feeling that we will not be able to complete the project before the Commonwealth Games. But we were able to complete it a few days before. And what happened is the organizing committee of Commonwealth Games were also issuing identity cards to various people.
Right.
They were finding themselves handicapped to issue so many.
Yes.
So at the last moment, they asked us to issue around 25,000 ID cards, which we issued from our side.
Okay.
So Delhi Police has worked very hard in that time. And I remember on those days, I would go to office 9:30 scheduled time, but I would return around 11 o'clock at night.
So much, more than 12 hours. a
Because
day.
apart from my office work, I had to attend many this technical committee meetings.
Yes. Any sense of achievement in executing the Commonwealth Games? Any project that you did that you found?
See, one project is about the command and control system.
Right.
But I'll give one incident. See, the project for CCTV
Yes.
and putting a line between the media to the police headquarters and police headquarters to our systems
Yes.
were given to private companies
Yes.
by the Commonwealth Games
Yes.
Committee.
Yes.
So a letter came to Commissioner of Police saying
Right.
that they have to put LAN in our police headquarters, local area network.
Yes.
and the cost would be around 3 crore.
Right.
So CP marked to me saying, see what is this and get it done. So I called a meeting of the people who would execute, the Commonwealth representative,
Right.
my technical team,
Yes.
and I also called one officer from MTNL who
Right.
were doing other projects
Yes.
for Delhi Police.
Yes.
So when I discussed with them, I told them that, okay, you put a router in our police headquarters.
Yes.
We already have a LAN
Yes.
and the router is there.
Yes.
So is it not possible that you connect your router to our router?
Yes.
There is no need of LAN.
Yes.
So they said, no, it is not possible because there are different protocols.
Right.
And the two routers will not talk to each other. To me, it was a bit strange.
Right.
So I was not convinced by their arguments.
Right.
So I asked this MTNL officer, Jitendra was the officer, can you help me in connecting these two with the optical fiber?
Yes.
He says he will do it.
Yes.
I asked him what will be the cost.
Right.
He says, sir, we are doing so much job for Delhi Police, this optical fiber is no
Right.
cost, we will do it free of cost.
Right.
So then there was a lot of resistance from this company people saying it will not be possible. I told them that let us try, let us do experiment.
Right.
So he did it. The MTNL person laid the cable and it started working. There was no issue of the
So basically, you
different
saved the
protocols.
exchequer's money.
Yes, it saved the exchequer.
Yes. So basically, you're satisfied with your tenure in Commonwealth Game. You did a different assignment from the assignment involving terrorists, special cell. And this was a completely administrative link to your, field of specialized because you understand technical side better. After that, after the inauguration day, were you transferred out after the inauguration happened, or you still continue to be
No,
in
I
Delhi?
continued in Delhi Police. I continued till 2011.
11, and it was the normal work, nothing as such.
Yeah. After the Commonwealth Games ended in, I think they were in October 2010.
Yes.
And in 2011, then I was transferred to Mizoram.
11.
Yes.
Okay. How was that posting in Mizoram?
Mizoram was very light work.
Okay.
And almost I would say that no work there.
Again, no crime,
Very less crime.
very less crime.
And office was adjoining the residence. You step out of your residence, you are in office. so there was no traveling time. and in the winters,
Yes.
office will be closed by 4:30.
Yes. 4:30.
4:30
Is because the sun sets early.
Yes, yes. So you are there without any
How did you utilize your time?
work. So I devoted my time in learning Sanskrit
Okay.
and also reading the philosophy.
Right. And after that, you come back to Delhi.
Yes.
And where have you posted?
After coming back from there, I was posted in the Enforcement Directorate as a special director, first in the Chandigarh,
Yes.
then in Delhi,
Okay.
and thereafter I was posted as Director, Enforcement Directorate.
That was in what year?
I was posted as Director in 2015,
15. So from you were director from 15 to 17?
15 to 18.
15 to 18. For 3 years you were there.
Yes.
So you've handled bomb blasts. You've handled maybe some financial crimes. Was this an area where you only handled finance? It's a very specialized setup.
Yes, it is a specialized setup
Yes.
where you require to analyze the financial data, financial records,
Yes.
except that the Prevention of Money Laundering Act is a criminal investigation
Which the ED undertakes.
which the ED undertakes. So that matches with the police working.
Okay.
I had already worked in the economic offences wing of
So you
Delhi
had
Police.
done those kind
I
of-
had an idea. Then I had done MBA from the FMS Delhi
Yes.
in finance only.
Right.
So I had idea how to
So you understood
understand
finance.
the financial analysis.
I want to know from you, because this involves high profile individuals who've got so many chartered accountants and all guiding them through manipulate. Does the government well equipped to handle such things? Because agencies generally don't have that kind of a talent. Is that a challenge for government agencies? Or you take on, or do you engage consultants who help you? Because in a sense, it requires a lot of money, because you would need to have really talented people to investigate.
See, number one, I agree with you that the offenders are very high profile.
Yes.
and very moneyed people.
Yes.
They can hire the best talent in the
Yes.
country to represent their cases in the courts.
Yes.
And therefore, our people have to be well versed in investigation.
Yes.
So what we started doing is we opened our own training center
Yes.
in Delhi,
In Delhi itself.
and large number of trainings were organized.
This
on-
was during your tenure.
yes, different topics.
Yes.
I would attend every training session either on inauguration or on closure,
Yes.
so that I give them my viewpoint, what
Yes.
I wanted from them.
Yes.
I wanted from them to be professionally competent,
Yes.
to be honest in their work,
Yes.
not to bow down,
Yes.
and do what is right. And we give them training of every aspect of investigation, including even when somebody appears in the court,
Yes.
how is the examination and cross-examination is done.
Okay.
So we organize certain moot courts also for
Yes.
them. That was very useful.
So I want to know from you one thing. You have all had these experiences, but there is a risk where a police officer acts because he is supposed to act. You may act against very high profile individuals, but we have been told many a times that they don't see it as an act of official policing, but they end up making personal rivalries. So they will not see that this is a chair and the man has a job to do and he is doing it. And then they use all that power that they have to trouble officers. Is this a problem that policing has, that people will take personally the actions that you take in official capacity because you have a job to do?
See, sometimes it is.
Yes.
And people go counter-offensive. I have many instances of that.
That you have experienced.
In police as well as in enforcement directorate.
Yes.
In police, I'll give you one incident.
Yes.
I was posted as DCP Northwest.
Yes.
So one journalist told me that there is a boy around
Yes.
18 years,
Yes.
and there's a very serious story about what happened to him and his family, and he wanted to meet me.
Yes.
So I called him to my office along with this journalist.
Yes.
Meanwhile, in the early morning, I got a call
Yes.
from somebody in some paramilitary
Yes.
saying that, sir, a woman being harassed by your SHO, I want to,
Yes.
along with her, I want to meet you.
Yes.
So I said, okay, come at this time.
Yes.
Now they came maybe 5 minutes before this boy,
Yes.
5 or 10 minutes. They entered my room. My additional DCP was also there
Yes.
with me. And they told about SHO. The
Yes.
SHO is doing this. So I told them, you give the complaint, I'll
Yes.
examine this.
Okay.
They went out. As soon as they went out, my PA rang him up saying, sir, this boy is telling these are the accused in a murder of their servant.
Yes.
And he also says you confirm it from your DCP West,
Yes.
Deepak Mishra.
Yes.
So I rang up Deepak Mishra.
Yes.
So he says, please stop them. They
Yes.
are wanted.
Yes.
So I sent my people out. They had run away by that. And
Yes.
they also saw perhaps the boy.
Yes.
Now the boy told me very, very grave story. He told that there are 3 sisters and 1 brother. He is a brother. And they have a kerosene depot also.
Yes.
His father was an old man who
Yes.
married a young lady.
Yes.
His father died in 92 in Hooch Treasury in
Yes.
Delhi. Thereafter, some people started visiting to
House.
meet this lady at
Yes.
his residence. After some time, the first sister,
Yes.
the elder sister,
Passed
got
away.
missing.
Yes.
Not passed away.
Missing.
Not known where she had gone.
Yes.
Then second daughter.
Yes.
Then their servant was killed. His body was found in West District.
Yes.
Where this case,
Yes.
murder case, was registered. Then the third daughter ran away.
Yes.
They grabbed the kerosene depot also.
Yes.
So this boy has nothing to
Support. Yes.
support. So what SHO had done is SHO has given this kerosene depot back to this boy.
Yes.
So they had come to complain about
Yes.
this incident. But they understood I would know everything.
Yes.
So they sent a telegram immediately that
Yes.
they went to meet. They are harassed by the SHO
Yes.
and beaten by the SHO.
Right.
Then their complaint started increasing.
Yes.
So they said that ultimately they came to this extent that I have beaten them in my office.
Yes.
And additional DCP has also beaten them in office.
Is it so? This woman and her.
Yes. And we have taken signature blanks,
Yes, forcibly
signature on
signature.
blank papers, all these complaints.
Yes.
They went to the court.
Yes.
Dismissed. They went to High Court. It was dismissed. By that time, I was transferred to the vigilance.
Yes.
So I was not aware what is happening there.
Yes.
Perhaps nobody bothered.
Yes.
It went to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Supreme Court asked for an inquiry report,
Yes.
which was given by a magistrate.
Yes.
And he said that SHO is at fault.
Yes.
And since SHO has done something wrong, very interesting statement he made in the inquiry report. Therefore, there is a probability that DCP has beaten these people.
Yes.
Without any evidence, he
Yes.
just made comments. So this went to the Supreme Court report.
Yes.
So in Supreme Court heard us also.
Yes.
We represented in the Supreme Court that before passing this inquiry report to the government, you listen to us. Now what we did is, we charted on a paper all their complaints, date, and
Yes.
what were the allegations.
Yes.
Same incident,
Yes.
but their allegations' gravity was increasing.
Yes.
So after seeing that, Supreme Court concluded that this inquiry report was not correct. They filed the inquiry report.
Yes.
And we were saved because Supreme
Yes.
Court
Yes.
gave us time.
Yes.
So many times it happens.
So
And the police officers or any investigating officer have to be careful about.
So basically, when you acquire such high profile positions and you are not like an industrialist who till he passes away will maintain the chair. You change chairs every 2-3 years. So that is the risk you undertake while serving as a police officer.
Yeah, that is true. There is always a risk, but I have not found many people going counter-offensive.
Yes.
But there are some people, and mostly the mischievous elements, very mischievous elements, will go counter-offensive.
They will counter. But
Yes.
but basically you mean it's not many a times, but there may be a risk.
Yes.
And it may be a risk even with terrorists or people like that, or it's only a risk with financial crime.
It could be with terrorists also.
They also-
Because if a terrorist organization find you bottleneck in their activities,
Yes.
they may target you also.
Yes. So that it's a risk both ways with
Yes.
financial fraudsters as well as.
Yes.
So I think you have given us a lot of time and you shared everything from 1984 with us. I think my viewers would have got to learn and know so much about you, and also from the anecdotes. And I would exhort you, all of you, to read this book, Batla House by Colonel Singh. So we would like to thank you for your time and for a great interview that we could do with you today. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed the interaction with you. I must
Yes.
say that your questions were very thoughtful and really brought out the various facets of not only my career, but what a really police and enforcement department officers
Thank you.
can
Thank you,
face.
sir. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.